If you're someone who spent significant time playing Xbox consoles back in the last decade, chances are you've come across a person named David Packer. He was so good at tweaking the consoles that he was often seen as an authority in the field. He would also modify games, going as far as to add cheat codes that made him invincible. What many people didn't know was that David was only 22 years old. He was also a computer science student, and all of these things he did were simply out of curiosity. He just wanted to understand how things worked. He just wanted to learn. But one day his thirst for knowledge would lead him to make a very interesting discovery. And when I say interesting, I mean it. The year was 2011, and David was talking to his friend Justin from the US. The two had met in an Xbox forum and became friends after discovering that they lived only an hour apart. They decided to meet up one weekend and hang out together. But David needed a new car bumper, so he asked Justin if he could get it from America and ship it over to Canada. "I don't have the money right now, but I'll pay you back," said David. "No worries," replied Justin. "I'll do it for you. We can settle the debt when I come over." That same evening, David went online to play some video games with his friend Dylan, but instead of playing games, they started talking about their conversation with Justin. "How expensive was the bumper?" asked Dylan. "Oh, $350, replied David. "You should ask Justin's dad to get it for you. His dad works at Epic Games, right? They might even send it to you for free." David thought this was a crazy idea, but decided to try it anyway. Little did he know that this small decision would change his life forever. He called Justin and told him about his idea. Justin liked the idea and offered to ask his father for help. "If it doesn't work out, I'm sorry, but if it does, we'll owe your dad one." "No worries," said Justin. "I'll go ahead and ask my dad." The next day, Justin got back to David and said that his father agreed to send him a new bumper, but that they needed to come up with a way to pay for shipping. "My dad suggested that you hack into the company's network and steal bandwidth to download the file instead of paying for it," said Justin. "What, are you serious?" "Yep, here's the plan." David was shocked, but also excited. This was the kind of challenge that he was looking for. At first he refused, but then Justin convinced him to at least consider the idea. "Come on, David, think about all the stuff you could do with the source code. You could release it online, and fans would go crazy." "Yeah, that's true, but wouldn't that be illegal?" "Of course it is. But isn't that why we're doing it? Besides, what could possibly go wrong?" "Well, quite a lot actually, but that's not important because David was already sold." He sat down in front of his computer and tried to access the Epic Games server. But when he put in the username and password provided by Justin, it didn't work. "It's not letting me in," he said. Let's try again later," said Justin. But before they could try again, David's phone rang. It was his friend Sonad. Sonad was also a computer genius and had been working on a modified version of the Microsoft Xbox 360 modem. His modem could quietly download large files without being detected. "Hey guys, what are you doing? We're trying to access the Epic Games server, but it's not working," said David. "Mind helping us?" "Sure. Connect me to your computer, and I'll do it myself." After connecting Sonad to his computer, David and the others watched in amazement as the mysterious device came to life. "I'm in," said Sonad. "Guys, I'm in." "Wait, what?" they all shouted. They couldn't believe what had happened. How did he do it? It turned out that Sonad had managed to find a vulnerability in the Epic Games security system and had used it to gain access to their private servers. Now they were inside. The three friends looked at each other and smiled. They knew that they had just accomplished something truly special. But their work was just beginning. They needed to find the Gears of War 3 source code. Sonad quickly went to work and soon found what they were looking for. "I found it," he whispered. "It's right here." They couldn't believe it. It was actually possible. They had found the source code for one of the most popular games in the world. But they knew that they needed to act quickly. If they were caught, they could go to prison for a long time. So they started transferring the data to another computer. They worked through the night and by dawn they had everything they needed. They had the source code for Gears of War 3. They all looked at each other and smiled. They had done it. But they knew that they had to be careful. They had no idea how the authorities would react to their discovery, so they hid the data in plain sight. They disguised it as wedding videos and uploaded it to the cloud. Then they went to the local store and bought a hard drive. They downloaded the data onto the hard drive and then returned it to the store. When the coast was clear, they went to retrieve it. They then transferred the data to David's computer. And finally they had everything they needed. They could finally start exploring the source code. They spent hours poring over the data and learning how it worked. They discovered that it was much more complex than they had imagined. But they were patient, and eventually they uncovered all of its secrets. They learned how to make the game run faster, how to add new features to it, and even how to cheat at it. They could do anything they wanted. They were the only ones who knew how the game worked. They were the only ones who could exploit its vulnerabilities. And they knew that they had to keep it a secret. They were afraid of what would happen if the authorities found out. But they couldn't resist the temptation to share their discovery with the world. They started posting their findings online, and soon other hackers and game enthusiasts were following in their footsteps. Soon the whole world knew about the Gears of War 3 source code, and everyone was trying to get their hands on it. David and his friends had done it. They had unlocked the secret source code of one of the most popular games in the world. But it wasn't easy. It required a lot of hard work, dedication, and skill. But they had done it, and they knew that they had created something truly special. But there was a problem. They had no game to play on their new Xbox. The machine was ready, but there were no games for it. They had to use an Xbox 360 disc and copy the data to a hard drive in order to play. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was that once they played the game on their new Xbox, they couldn't return it to the original. So they had to play on the new Xbox all the time. But they didn't mind. They knew that they had created something truly special, and they were happy to be a part of it. For David and his friends, it wasn't just about hacking or breaking the rules. It was about the electric rush of curiosity, the thrill of discovery, and the joy of exploring the unknown. It was about the camaraderie of working together to achieve a common goal, and the satisfaction of knowing that they had done something that very few others could. It was about pushing the boundaries of what was possible and discovering new things along the way. So what happened next? Did they find a solution to their problems? What do you think they did next? Let me know in the comments below. Also, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more great stories. Thanks for watching.